against the Reston Raiders. This is game 2 of our 3 games this weekend. We came away with a 2-2 tie against the Montgomery Ice Devils this afternoon. I do apologize that we had no Wi-Fi at that rink, so we had to stream the game as it was going on in 30-minute intervals, and then Chad did a great job splicing it together and then uploading it to YouTube. I have not actually looked at that, so hopefully that process went smoothly for anybody who watched it after the fact. We have much better Wi-Fi in this rink. The seating is not as great. There's only 2 sets of bleachers, one all the way on our end, and then there's another set of bleachers under the banners over there, and then just kind of standing over only seating. So it's not the greatest viewpoint, but we'll try to get some of the action. The Reston Raiders are going to be in their white jerseys, and the Mustangs will be in their black jerseys. We'll play again tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. against the Reston Raiders again. So the 16U Mustangs are with us this weekend as well. They tied their first game 2-2 against the Montgomery Ice Devils as well, and they're playing the Reston Raiders on the other rink here right now. And then tomorrow we'll both be playing the Reston Raiders kind of at the same time as well. So I'll try to get as much in view as possible. I do apologize that the far side of the net probably won't get as good of a view. I don't want to zoom it in too much and then not be able to see on this end. Looks like we're going to have 15 minutes up on the clock. Again, this is the first game of a doubleheader split between today and tomorrow against the Reston Raiders. We do have some injuries as well. I'll go over those in the next intermission for you. So we are down a couple players for this game. So we have Wideline, Wenzel, Downey, Knob, and Moore out for the Mustangs, and Winfield in the net to our right. So Downey taking that puck down. Downey with a shot saved by the goalie. Fighting for that puck in the corner. I cannot see as everybody's kind of standing over there along the boards. Moore will go back to collect it in the neutral zone, sends it up towards Downey, but the Raiders come away with it. The Raiders change directions, brings it around. Pressure by Moore and Downey. Downey comes up with the puck. Downey along the near boards. Downey skating to get to that puck. Wenzel breaks up that momentarily, but the puck does leak out into the neutral zone. Knob will pick this up, gets it to Wenzel. Wenzel dumps it down along the boards before he goes on a change. Eichfeld is in there putting some pressure along that puck. Conrad, Steer, Baker, and Brooks also in for the Mustangs right now. The Raiders have this puck behind the net. Conrad and Eichfeld putting pressure along that puck. The puck leaks out into the neutral zone as the Raiders tip it to the corner, and that'll be icing. So I know that we were going to try to get Archer Williams to get a second camera, but I'm not sure if that's actually working or not. Okay, so it sounds like there might be a second camera from Archer Williams, so Chad may be going back and forth between some of the cameras to try to get you a little bit better view in some of the areas. So thank you to Archer for doing double camera duty, and thanks to Chad for doing the extra work on the computer stuff going back and forth. So the puck leaks out into the neutral zone. Poke check by Steer momentarily. The Raiders bring it around. Shot blocked by Brooks. Gets towards the middle. Conrad has it in the corner. Dumps it behind the net. Brooks will pick this up. Change direction. Sends it around the boards towards Baker. Baker back behind the net towards Steer. Steer tries to get it out towards Conrad. Conrad gets it up to Eichfeld. Conrad with the puck to Steer. Steer tries to get it behind the net. Brooks in the corner. Gets it to Baker. Baker up to Eichfeld. Eichfeld through the neutral zone. Dumps it down just wide of the net. The Raiders centering pass kept in by Knob. Williams and Lugar in there for the Mustangs, along with Sheehan, Knob, and Moore. So the Raiders bring it through the neutral zone. Knob putting pressure into the corner, behind the net, centering pass by the Raiders. Shot blocked. Moore and Sheehan trying to get to this puck. Knob trying to get that puck away. The puck leaks towards the middle. Moore gets it out momentarily. Moore will pick up this puck, sends it behind the net over towards Williams. Williams up, but the Raiders keep it in at the point. Raiders with a shot saved by Winfield. Williams over into the corner along with Moore. Lugar will pick up this puck along the far boards, dumps it out past the neutral zone, and that'll be icing. So we have 12:07 left in the first period, tied 0-0. We'll have a face-off to the right of Winfield. We'll have Giesman, Downey, Steer, Wenzel, and I think that's Brooks over there. So Giesman with the face-off goes back to Brooks. Brooks behind the net. Brooks hits that puck up off the board. The Raiders do keep that in. Centering pass, broken up by Giesman and Wenzel. The Raiders have it at the blue line, dump it down. Steer into the corner, dumps it back towards Brooks behind the net. Brooks sends it up to Downey, who gets it into the neutral zone and up towards the offensive zone. Wenzel is in pursuit. The Raiders get this puck along the near boards. Downey picks up in the neutral zone, passes it over to Brooks. Brooks dumps it down to the side of the net. The Raiders will pick it up. The Raiders pass it into the neutral zone. Steer blocks that puck momentarily. Knob behind the net. Bouncing puck there. Cross-ice pass by Knob over to Eichfeld. Eichfeld dumps it down into that corner. The Raiders trying to get it, but good job by Eichfeld to keep it in there. Poke check by Conrad, gets it towards Zoldi and Eichfeld in that corner. Eichfeld, and I think that's Zoldi in that corner there. Fighting for the puck. Conrad picks it up behind the net. Conrad trying to get it centered. Zoldi back behind the net. The Raiders will have possession, get up along the near boards. Cross-ice pass. Moore is back on D. The Raiders bring it in the middle, but Knob picks this up. Knob sends it behind the net to Zoldi. Zoldi bounces it up to Conrad. The Raiders cross-ice pass, but Moore is there to send it back up. Conrad putting pressure along that puck. Eichfeld dumps it down, and that'll be on net. The Raiders have a little bit of speed as the Mustangs went in and change. Good job by Williams to come in there to break that up momentarily. Knob breaks that puck up along with Sheehan. Still fighting for this puck along the boards. The Raiders send it up to the point. Shot blocked by Lugar. Sheehan picks up this puck along the near boards, gets it out into the neutral zone. Lugar has that puck. Unfortunately, tried to get around Williams, but got tied up there. The Raiders dump it down into the neutral zone, picked up by Brooks. Brooks over to Steer. Steer cross-ice pass. Lugar is there, but it bounces into our defensive zone. Steer will pick this up, sends it off the boards towards Brooks. Brooks dumps it down after he gains the red line. The Raiders have possession of this puck. Cross-ice pass. No icing. Brooks will come in behind the net, sends it hard around the boards towards Williams. Does get it out. Giesman putting pressure along that puck. The Raiders get it into our defensive zone. Brooks with a check to break up that play. Downey behind the net. Dumps it around towards Conrad. Conrad up to Giesman. Giesman. Downey and Giesman fighting for that puck. Moore trying to get that puck up, but it stays in by the Raiders. Moore over to Knob. Knob through the neutral zone. Knob centering pass, saved by the goalie. Still loose and saved. So 8:25 left in the first period. The score is still 0-0. So like I said, we do have a bunch of line changes. Moore is back on D. We have some injuries and illnesses. We'll talk more about that in the intermission here. So we have Giesman, Wenzel, Knob, Moore, and Downey. Knob picking up this puck, gets it towards Downey. Downey dumps it into our offensive zone. Raiders dump this high, gloved down by Moore. Wenzel keeps it in and dumps it along the far boards. Downey putting pressure along the puck. Moore still fighting for that puck, keeps it in, gets it towards Downey and Wenzel. Centering pass hooked out to the wall by the Raiders. Knob comes in, fighting for that puck along the boards. Wenzel comes up with it through the middle. Giesman with a shot, saved by the goalie. So 7:41 left in the first period, still tied 0-0. We'll have Baker, Steer, Eichfeld, Zoldi, and Brooks out for the Mustangs. So a face off to the right of the goalie. Baker comes away with that puck momentarily before it goes behind the net. Eichfeld putting pressure along that puck. Leagues up towards the point. Eichfeld fighting to get to that puck. Zoldi there putting some pressure. Cross ice pass by the Raiders. Goes into the corner. Steer behind the net. Changes directions over to Brooks. Brooks along the near wall. Through the middle. Gets picked up by the Raiders. Raiders pass it. Shot. Saved by Winfield. Steer picks that up. Sends it along to Eichfeld. Eichfeld to Baker. Unfortunately, Baker lost an edge there. Shot. Saved by Winfield. So 7:02 left in the first period, still 0-0. We'll have a face-off to the left of Winfield. We'll have Sheehan, Lugar, Knob, Moore, and Williams out there for the Mustangs. So the puck leaks out to the point. Raiders keep it in. Shot saved by Winfield. Over to the far wall. Williams and Moore. Still fighting for that puck over there. The puck leaks out toward the Raiders. We're going to get a penalty for cross-checking against... Looks like against the Raiders. So the Raiders will be going to the box for a minute 30, I believe. It's always kind of a guessing game for each game because sometimes it's a minute 30, sometimes it's 2 minutes. Yep, it looks like it's a minute 30, so we'll be on the power play for a minute 30. There's 6:44 left in the first period. Score is still 0-0. We have Downey, Eichfeld, Giesman, Lugar, and Steer. The Raiders pick this up into the neutral zone. The Raiders bring it around. Raiders with a shot saved by Winfield. Giesman will pick this up behind the net. Giesman sends it up to Lugar. Lugar to Eichfeld. Got hung up on the skates, but Eichfeld does bring it into the offensive zone. Eichfeld hung up along the boards there. The puck leaks out into the neutral zone. Downey will go back to collect it. Downey brings it through the neutral zone into the middle. Shot by Eichfeld, saved by the goalie. So 6:05 left in the first period. 52 seconds left on our power play. We'll have Lugar, Steer, Eichfeld, Downey, and Giesman. So Giesman with a face-off goes towards Lugar. Lugar centering pass over towards Steer. Unfortunately, got tied up by the Raiders. Steer with a shot, quick off that centering pass, saved by the goalie into the corner there. I think that's Giesman. The Raiders do bring it into neutral zone. Nice poke check by Eichfeld. Steer will pick up this puck, gets it to Downey. Downey through the neutral zone. Downey brings it around. Shot saved by the goalie. Still, oh, no, it is covered. So 21 seconds left on our power play. 5:34 left in the first period, still 0-0. We're going to have Moore, Baker, Knob, Brooks, and Sheehan. So Moore with the face-off. A puck along that wall that I can't really see all that well. The Raiders have it, hit it off the wall into the neutral zone. Brooks will pick this up, wait for the Mustangs to get back on sides. Brooks will bring this into our offensive zone. Poke check by the Raiders. Knob picks this up. Knob dumps it down. That must have been offsides. So the Raiders are back to full strength, so we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. 5:11 left in the first period, still tied 0-0. Moore, Baker, Sheehan, Knob, and Steer. So they're taking both of them out of the face-off circle. Over to the Raiders, back to the D. The Raiders have it on the far wall through the neutral zone. They dump it down. Brooks will go collect it behind the net. Brooks sends it towards Knob. Knob up along the boards towards Sheehan. Bounces off a Knob. Moore gives it up towards Sheehan. Sheehan brings it into the neutral zone. Sheehan against that far wall. Knob dumps it down, but unfortunately we're offsides. So 4:41 left in the first period, still 0-0. We will have a face-off to the right of Winfield. We're going to have Giesman, Zoldi, Downey, Williams, and maybe Steer over there. Yeah, Steer. So Steer dumps that up and out, and that'll be icing. So we'll repeat that face-off over to the right of Winfield. So Giesman with the face-off goes along the wall. The Raiders come up with it. Good pressure by Giesman. Giesman and Downey fighting for that puck. The Raiders come up with it. Raiders centering pass couldn't connect. Zoldi putting pressure along that puck. The Raiders come into the corner behind the net. The Raiders dump it behind the net. Williams will pick this up momentarily. The Raiders try to get a shot off but couldn't. Williams putting pressure behind the net. The Raiders bring it all the way around, send it up to the point. Shot from the point. Glove save by Winfield. So 3:58 left in the first period, still 0-0. So we're going to have Knob, Eichfeld, Conrad, Baker, and Moore on a face-off to the right of Winfield. So Eichfeld with the face-off. The Raiders come away with it, send it to the point. Shot blocked by Conrad. The Raiders bring it around towards the middle, broken up by Moore. Baker along the near boards. Ooh, high bouncing puck and hit the net. So we'll repeat that face-off to the left of Winfield. So the puck's still sitting on the dot there. The Raiders come away with it, get it to the point. Another shot blocked by Conrad again. Conrad picks up this puck momentarily. So it looks like there's going to be a tripping penalty against Conrad. So I was working hard to get to that puck after the block, but he'll be going to the box for a minute 30. So we'll be on a penalty kill for a minute 30, 33 left in the first period. Still 0-0, face off to the right of Winfield. The Raiders come up with it, send it to the point, back towards the top of the circle. Raiders with a shot and in. So the Raiders with a power play goal top of the circle, shot and in. So that'll put the Raiders up on the board first. 3:27 left in the first period. That'll get Conrad out of the box. We'll be back to full strength. We're going to have Lugar, Williams, Sheehan, Moore, and Knob out for the Mustangs. So Lugar pushes that forward. Moore picks us up along the far boards. Moore towards Sheehan. Sheehan picks it up in the corner momentarily before the Raiders take it behind the net. Lugar putting some pressure. Williams comes in to try to break up that play. Knob sends it up along the boards. Williams fighting to get to that puck. Lugar in pursuit. DDD pass by the Raiders. The Raiders do chip it in. Goes behind the net. Moore behind the net fighting to get to that puck. Knob will pick this up. Knob up towards Williams. The Raiders send it back down. Knob towards Williams again. The Raiders send it to the far boards. Brooks putting pressure along that puck. Knob will pick this up along the near boards, dumps it down. No icing. The Raiders have this along the far corner. Cross ice pass. Brooks was trying to get to that. Got hung up. Giesman breaks that up momentarily. The Raiders have it there. Good job by Giesman to break that up. The Raiders do come up with it again, though. They bring it into our defensive zone. Brooks poke checks it over towards Downey. Downey towards the far wall. Steer there to try to break up that play. Gets it up towards Sheehan. And it's offsides. So 2:06 left in the first period. The Raiders are ahead 1-0. So it's going to be Brooks, Steer, Downey, Giesman, and Wenzel out there for the Mustangs. So we'll repeat that face-off outside the zone. Goes over towards the far wall. Wenzel breaking up that play momentarily. Giesman fighting for that puck. Wenzel puts it into the offensive zone, but unfortunately we were offsides. So 1:53 left in the first period. The score is still 1-0 in favor of the Raiders. So face-off goes towards Wenzel. Wenzel brings it over towards the near boards, sends it up over the Raiders. Cross-ice pass. Steer, hard pass down, but it goes out onto the bench. So we'll have face-off at center ice after the puck went out of play. 1:41 left in the first period. Giesman with that face-off. Wenzel breaks up that play. Downey coming in pursuit. Steer and Brooks break up that play. Wenzel dumps it down. Bounces off of the Raiders' skates. The Raiders have it in the neutral zone. Cross-ice pass. They tip it into the offensive zone, or their offensive zone. Brooks brings it around behind the net. And there's going to be a penalty against the Raiders. So the Raiders are going to go to the box for a minute 30 for interference. We'll be on the power play for a minute 30. There's a minute 19 left in the first period. The Raiders are still ahead 1-0. We'll have Downey, Eichfeld, Lugar, Giesman, and Steer. So Eichfeld over to Downey. Downey with a shot deflected high up into the netting. So 1:10 left in the period. It's still on the power play for the Mustangs. Giesman with that face-off goes to the corner. The Raiders hit hard down, and that'll be icing. So another face-off to the right of the goalie. So the Raiders pick it up behind the net. Lugar trying to get to that puck. Raiders send it around. It steers along the near boards in that corner. Hits it behind over towards Lugar in the opposite corner. Lugar hits it up to Eichfeld at the point. Eichfeld tangled up with that Raiders player. Lugar from the point sends it over to Steer. Steer with a shot saved by the goalie. Giesman tries to get a rebound in and covered. Tangled up with that Raiders player.
35.9
Lugar from the
seconds
point
left
sends
in
it
the
over
first period.
to Steer.
47
Steer with a
seconds
shot
left in
saved by
our
the
power
goalie.
play.
Giesman tries to get a rebound. The Mustangs are still down by 1. We have Baker, Moore, Sheehan, Knob, and Brooks. So Moore at the face-off. Baker trying to get to that puck. The puck is hung up along the boards. There, can't really see behind all those people. So we're still fighting for that puck. There's 20 seconds left in the period. The puck leaks out momentarily, but still along the boards in the corner. I think that's Sheehan that gets it out towards Lugar. The Raiders ultimately pick it up behind the net. There's 6 seconds left. The puck leaks out into the neutral zone. Knob brings it in as the period expires. So at the end of the first period, the Mustangs are down 1-0. We'll still have 11 seconds left on our power play going into the second period. And I do apologize, we got started a little bit late here because there were a little bit of technical difficulties and we started a little bit early. Like I said, we are kind of short benched right now. So unfortunately, Noah Wilson is still out from last weekend from a concussion. So we're down Noah, and then we also have RJ Billadou, who ended up with an ankle fracture in our first game. So he broke his ankle on one of the plays there in the first game. So he is out, and also Carter Wideline wasn't feeling so great after that first game. So he is out as well. I feel like there might be, was there just 3 people out or was there a 4th one? Sorry, I'm trying to remember. We have, Noah, RJ, Carter. Yeah, so we're working with a little bit of a short bench here, but we're making it work, kind of mixing up the lines a little bit, getting some people on offense and defense. So I'm not quite sure what was going on, but I know that Jackson and Jonah were over talking to the coaches, and then the coaches were talking to the refs. Not sure if there was something going on goalie-wise with the net or anything, but we're getting ready to start that second period here. So we still have 7 seconds left on our power play. The Raiders have it into the corner. The Raiders send it cross ice as that man was streaking out of the box. Shot saved by Winfield. Nice blocker save there. Moore picks up that puck. Another save by Winfield. Baker comes away with it, brings it into the neutral zone. Baker with a shot just wide of the net. Sheehan fighting for that puck along the backboard. Moore coming in. Cross ice pass by the Raiders. Gets broken up by Brooks. So we do get that puck out into the neutral zone. Sheehan comes in to try to break up that play. Eichfeld comes away with it. Eichfeld over towards the boards. Shot. Ooh, I thought that was going in, but it just went wide of the net. Eichfeld dumps it down to Wenzel in the corner. Wenzel gives it back towards Eichfeld. Eichfeld still fighting for that puck. Williams tries to get it in, knocks that player's stick out of his hands. Knobs picks it up, sends it over towards Conrad. Conrad to comes away with Downey
Williams
with a shot and see, or tries to get it in, knocks that player stick out of his hands. Knob picks it up, sends it over towards Conrad. 13:34 left in the second Conrad period. The Raiders are still ahead 1-0. So face off to the right of the goalie. We'll have Wenzel, Conrad, Eichfeld, Knob, and Williams. So Conrad around the far boards. Knob trying to get that puck. Conrad keeps it in. Good job there at the blue line. Wenzel trying to fight for that puck. Conrad keeps it in again momentarily before it leaks out. Williams with this puck Knob with that puck along the blue line. Wenzel into the corner. Eichfeld fighting for that puck along the boards. So Conrad tries to get it in, saved by the goalie. Williams, right on that blue line there, but it leaked out before Williams hit that in. So we have 12:56 left in second period. Sorry, I was trying to see what the refs were talking about because I think they were talking about that issue there, but still can't figure out what that was. So Giesman brings us along the wall, but it'll be offsides. So Zoldi, Giesman, Downey, Steer, and Brooks. So Steer hits that puck down, goes along the far boards. Downey dumps it behind the net. Giesman tries to pick this up, but it bounces over some snow back there. Zoldi in the corner fighting for this puck. The puck does leak up. Steer keeps it in at the blue line momentarily before the Raiders do get it out. The Raiders have some room and some speed. Nice job by Brooks on that back check. Brooks breaks up that play. Good defense there. That puck gets out into the neutral zone. Giesman brings it into our offensive zone before the Raiders pick this up. The Raiders do get it out. Brooks is there to get it towards Giesman. The Raiders dump it down. Steer will send it behind the net. I believe that's Downey who will pick it up. Downey trying to pass it over, but it gets broken up by the Raiders. Zoldi coming towards that puck on the near boards. Zoldi still fighting for that puck there. Brooks gets it over towards Steer. Steer up towards Downey. Downey into the zone. Changes directions. Sends it over towards Steer in the middle. Steer, ringer off the post. The puck leaks behind the net. Lugar putting pressure along that puck. The Raiders will regroup. Sheehan comes in to put pressure along that puck. Steer sends it back up to Downey. Downey chips it into the offensive zone. Cross ice pass by the Raiders. Get it out into the neutral zone. Gets broken up by Brooks. The puck gets dumped down. Downey will go into the corner. Lugar picks this up behind the net. Senders it to Knob. Knob with a shot. Saved by the goalie. So a good shot there. Good Downey will go into the corner. Lugar picks this up behind the net, senders it to Knob. Knob with a shot. 11:04 left in the second period. The score is still 1-0 in favor of the Raiders. We'll face off to the right of the goalie. We have Lugar, Sheehan, Williams, Moore, and Knob. So Williams fighting for that puck in the corner. So Knob picks this up, dumps it behind the net. Williams into that corner. Sheehan and assistance. The puck leaks behind the net again. The Raiders will pick this up on the far boards, get it out into the neutral zone. Knob waits for the Mustangs to get back on side before he dumps it down. The Raiders do get that out. Knob will have to pick this up as it won't reach the red line. Knob changes directions behind the net, gets it over to Moore. Moore up towards Lugar. The puck does leak down behind the net. The Raiders pick this up, change directions. The Raiders dump that. No icing. Knob in pursuit of that puck. Conrad comes in, will pick up this puck, changes direction, sends it to Knob behind the net. Knob, hard pass up towards Eichfeld. The Raiders have control in the neutral zone. They tip it in. Knob will pick this up. There's going to be a high sticking call. So it looks like high sticking against Eichfeld. So Eichfeld will go to the box for a minute 30. We have 9:43 left in the second period. So we'll be on a penalty kill for a minute 30. We have Downey, Steer, Giesman, and Brooks out there on a face-off to the left of Winfield. So the puck leaks up towards the top. Point pass by the Raiders, tipped over to the corner. The Raiders send it back up to the point, down towards the top of the circle, back up to the point. Shot blocked by Giesman. Another shot saved by Winfield. Good save there.
So we have
Down towards the
9:25
top of the
left in the
circle.
second period.
A minute 12 left on our shot
Penalty
blocked
kill
by Giesman. Another shot, so 1-0 in favor of the Raiders. So the puck leaks out to the Raiders at the top of the blue line. Top of the circle pass. Back to the blue line. Shot tipped high back off the glass. The Mustangs send it hard, but that'll be icing. So 9:09 left in the second period. 56 seconds left on our penalty kill. We'll have another face-off to the left of Winfield. We have Lugar, Wenzel, Brooks, and maybe Steer over there. It's hard to see that far away. So Lugar hits that puck up, but the Raiders keep it in. The Raiders dump it down into that corner. Wenzel trying to get that puck out. The Raiders keep it in. Raiders cross ice pass shot saved by, I thought Winfield had that. The Raiders dump it down into that corner. Good attempt at that. Wenzel trying to get that puck out. The Raiders keep it in. Raiders cross ice pass shot saved by, So that'll put the Raiders up 2-0. 8:55 left in the second period. We'll have a face-off at center ice. We'll have Lugar, Sheehan, Wenzel, Moore, and Knob. So the Raiders pick this puck up. Moore putting pressure. Raiders with a backhand shot wide of the net. Knob sends it behind the net. Moore tries to get it to Sheehan. Lugar picks this up, gets it to Wenzel. Wenzel along the near boards. Still putting pressure along that puck. The Raiders change directions. We'll regroup, send it cross ice. Knob in pursuit of this puck will pick it up, takes it behind the net, sends it around the boards to Sheehan. Sheehan gets it to Lugar. Lugar through the neutral zone. Lugar stands up to that check. Wenzel with that puck. So it looks like there is one of the Raiders players down here at the blue line. Looks like they're starting to get up. Hopefully they're okay. So they're getting up, so that's always good to see, getting back up after getting hurt. Hopefully they're okay. We definitely don't need any more injuries for any teams. This has been a bad year for injuries all around. Many teams with many friends of all these kids have been out with injuries this year. So hopefully we can keep everybody else healthy. So Lugar with a shot, another shot saved by the goalie. Wenzel trying to pick up this play. The Raiders do bring it into the zone. Nice poke check by Knob out to the corner. Knob still putting pressure along that puck. The Raiders come in, shot, nice save by Winfield. Wenzel will pick this up, sends it up and out. The Raiders will have to collect as there's no icing. Cross ice pass by the Raiders. Good job by Lugar to break up that play. The Raiders do pick it up and into the neutral zone. Sheehan sends it towards Eichfeld. Sheehan breaks out that play momentarily. Moore gets it over towards Knob. Knob towards Baker. The Raiders center it, saved by Winfield. The Raiders into the corner. Still fighting for that puck there along the corner. The Raiders from the point, deflected wide of the net. Another shot saved by Winfield and covered. So we have 7:08 left in the second period. The Raiders are ahead 2-0. We'll face off to the left of Winfield. We'll have Conrad, Baker, Brooks, Steer, and Eichfeld on the face-off. So Eichfeld will take this face-off, goes back towards Steer. Steer sends it to Conrad. Conrad in the far board sends it towards the middle towards Eichfeld. Eichfeld in pursuit of this puck. No icing. Eichfeld brings it behind the net. The Raiders send this up. They do get it into the neutral zone. Steer breaks up that play. Momentarily, Baker comes in. Conrad will pick this up in the corner, sends it towards Steer. Steer behind the net. It does leak out. Conrad, that's Giesman putting pressure along that puck. Conrad putting pressure along that puck. The Raiders bring it in, wrap it around behind the net. Raiders keep it in at the blue line, dump it down towards the corner. Shot behind the net. Steer picks this up, sends it up along the boards. Baker poke checks it. Unfortunately, the Raiders do keep it in. Brooks comes in to try to break up that play. The Raiders send it down to the corner. Steer is there, along with Giesman, fighting for that puck in that corner. The puck leaks up along the boards. Shot by the Raiders, deflected by Brooks. Brooks in that corner, changes directions behind the net. Brooks will bring it around, sends it up to Giesman in the middle, but the Raiders get it control, bounces off of the netting. So 5:41 left in the second period. The Raiders are still ahead 2-0. We'll face off outside our defensive zone. Moore, Zoldi, Giesman, Downey, and Knob. So Moore sends it up towards Downey. The Raiders have it in the neutral zone. Raiders back to their D. Zoldi in pursuit. Zoldi still putting pressure along that puck. The Raiders change directions again. Cross ice pass to the near boards. Cross ice pass again. The Raiders send it high, but it bounces off the banner. So 5:12 left in the second period. We'll have face off to the right of the goalie. We'll have Zoldi, Giesman, Downey, Knob, and Moore. So the puck leaks behind the net. Giesman in that corner centers it, but the Raiders come away with it. The Raiders have a little bit of speed. Nice poke check by Knob. Zoldi picks this up, sends it up along the boards. The Raiders pass it back to their D. Cross ice pass broken up by Moore. Moore to Knob. Knob up to Giesman in the neutral zone. Giesman gets it around that one player. Sends it towards the middle. Zoldi, shot saved by the goalie. The Raiders send it around. Change directions. Pass it back to their D. Pass it up along the near boards and dump it down. No, they didn't gain the red line, so it will be icing. So it'll face off to the left of the goalie. 4:28 left in the second period. Per the scoreboard, the shots are tied at 12 apiece. Sheehan, Williams, Wenzel, Steer, and Brooks. So Wenzel picks up that puck, tries to get it towards the middle. The Raiders do come up with it. Good job by Brooks to try to keep that in, but the Raiders do get it out into the neutral zone. Good pressure by Brooks. Gets it to Williams. Williams towards Wenzel. Sheehan comes up with it in the neutral zone. Sheehan brings it in. Sheehan with a shot just over the net. Wenzel into the corner along with Williams. Gets it to Sheehan in the middle. Backhanded shot saved by the goalie and covered. Sheehan brings it in. Sheehan with a shot just over the net. Wenzel into the corner along with Williams.
We're still 2-0.
Gets it to Sheehan in the middle. Backhanded shot saved by the goalie. Will face off to the right of the goalie. Williams, Wenzel, Sheehan, Brooks, and Steer. So Wenzel fighting for that puck there. Brooks keeps it in, dumps it back down towards Sheehan. Bouncing puck there off of a couple different gloves. Wenzel down to Sheehan. Sheehan towards the corner. The Raiders pick it up, take it behind the net, change direction, send it up along the boards. Wenzel is there to keep it in momentarily. The puck does leak out. Steer gets it up to Williams. Williams dumps it down into our offensive zone. The Raiders bring it behind the net. Poke check by Eichfeld to keep it in momentarily. Puck leaks out into the neutral zone. Good job by Williams to keep that puck on sides till the Mustangs could get back. Brooks picks up that puck, gets it around that player. Brooks over to Eichfeld. Eichfeld sends it on net and covered by the goalie. So 3:02 left in the second period. Still 2-0 in favor of the Raiders. We'll have Conrad, Eichfeld, Baker, Moore, and Knob out for the Mustangs. So it goes over towards Baker. Baker trying to get it towards the middle. Conrad is there. Conrad sends it back to the point. Knob keeps it in momentarily but goes down. The Raiders do have some speed. Moore is back on D. Shot. Nice glove save by Winfield. So 2:49 left in the second period there. Conrad sends it back to the point. Knob keeps it in momentarily but goes down. The Raiders do have some speed. Moore is back on D. Shot. Nice glove save by. So Eichfeld will take that face off. Goes towards Knob. Knob gives it up towards Baker. Baker towards Eichfeld and Conrad. Conrad picks it up, brings it through the neutral zone, passes it over to Eichfeld. Eichfeld into the offensive zone. Eichfeld over towards Conrad. Conrad behind the net. Conrad back to Moore at the point. Moore with a shot just wide of the net. The Raiders have it on the far boards, bring it into the neutral zone. Poke checked by Knob. Knob to Eichfeld. Ooh, unfortunately bounced off the skate there. The Raiders have it in the neutral zone. Pressure by the Mustangs to get it over to the far wall. The Raiders send it point to point. Shot wide of the net. Bouncing puck. So that was a bouncing puck rebound saved by Winfield. So good job there. So there was a little confusion over there, kind of with the netting back there. But good save by Winfield there. We have 2:03 left in the second period. So I think that's Giesman, Downey, Zoldi, Brooks, and another nice save by Winfield, and I think Steer. So I think that's Giesman, Downey, Zoldi, Brooks, and so Giesman will take this face off again. Downey trying to get that puck, and does. He gets it into the neutral zone. Downey with some speed. Downey gets around that player. Downey there with a shot. Paul saved by the goalie. Zoldi putting pressure along that puck along the four boards. Gets it behind the net. Downey in pursuit of this puck. Downey still pressuring that puck. Zoldi in the corner. The puck leaks to the Raiders. Good job by Zoldi and Downey. Keep that puck in. Get it over towards Giesman. The Raiders do get it out into the neutral zone. Brooks sends it up to Zoldi. Zoldi tips it. into our offensive zone. The Raiders get it out over a cross ice. Steer is there to pick it up. Steer cross ice pass to Brooks. Brooks towards Zoldi. Zoldi dumps it down. Cross ice pass by the Raiders. Bounced hard off their stick. Brooks is there to pick this up along the near boards. Brooks trying to carry that puck up. The Raiders do come away with it. Zoldi poke checks that back towards the wall. Giesman comes up with it. Giesman over to Downey. Downey brings it in. Downey to Giesman. Giesman tries to get a shot off. Downey tries to get a shot off. Still loose. Bunches of bodies laying there. The Raiders come up with it. Send it to the point. The puck does leak out. Steer in pursuit of this puck. Raiders cross ice pass. Bring it in. Nice job by Brooks to poke check that out to the wall. There's going to be a hooking penalty. So Lugar's going to the box for 1:30 for hooking. So there's 25.1 seconds left in the second period. We'll be on a penalty kill for 1:30. We're going to have Knob, Moore, Williams, and Sheehan out there. So Knob sends that puck up hard, wide of the net, and that'll be icing. So 16.5 seconds left in the second period. 1:22 left on our penalty kill. The score is still 2-0 in favor of the Raiders. So Sheehan with this face-off. The Raiders have it at the point. They try to get a shot off, but miss the puck. Sheehan putting pressure along that puck. Williams comes in assistance as well. The Raiders do come up with it. Poke checked by Knob. The Raiders keep it in at the blue line. The Raiders have it along the far or the near boards, and that'll be the end of the period. So at the end of the second period, the score is 2-0, still in favor of the Raiders. For the scoreboard, the shots are tied at 14 apiece. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I know this is some late night hockey for everybody. So I'm glad that we have our Wi-Fi back and are able to get you this video live. We'll be back at the same rink tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. against the Reston Raiders again. I'm going to mute you here for just a minute. Okay, we're just about to start the third period. I did get an update that the 16U Mustangs won 3-1 against the Reston Raiders. So congratulations to the 16U Mustangs. So we're going to have Knob, Sheehan, Moore, and Williams out for our penalty kill line to start the third period. We still have 1:06 on our penalty. The Raiders cross ice pass, bring it into the neutral zone. Pressure by Williams. Drop pass by the Raiders. Good job by Williams to poke check that up and out into the neutral zone. Raiders have to regroup. Sheehan in pursuit of this puck. Sheehan putting pressure along that puck. The Raiders send it out into the neutral zone. Moore putting pressure along that puck. The Raiders have it at the blue line. The Raiders with a shot blocked by Moore. The puck leaks out to the corner. Sheehan picks it up along the near boards. Sheehan brings it into the neutral zone. Sheehan with a shot blocked by the Raiders. The Mustangs are on a change. Puck leaks up. No icing as it was tipped. Steer will collect this behind the net. Steer sends it up hard along the boards. Eichfeld in pursuit of this puck. Knob is there to try to break up that play as well. The puck leaks behind the net. Steer picks it up, back passes it to Baker. Baker to Eichfeld. Eichfeld through the neutral zone. And unfortunately will be offsides. So the Mustangs are back to full strength. 13:45 left in the third period. Baker, Wenzel, Eichfeld, Steer, and Brooks. So poke check by Steer, but the Raiders come up with it in the neutral zone. The Raiders bring it through into the middle. Broken up shot. Nice save by Winfield. The Raiders have it up towards the point. Dump it back down to the circle. Brooks sends it back up. Wenzel breaks that up. Gets it out into the neutral zone. Baker with the puck through the neutral zone. Dumps it down towards Wenzel. Wenzel brings it in. Wenzel with a shot. Saved by the goalie and in by Eichfeld. So initial shot by Wenzel, and Eichfeld picks up that with the puck through the neutral zone, dumps it down towards Wenzel. Wenzel brings it in. Wenzel with a shot. So that'll saved by the goalie and in. Mustangs up on the board. So 13-17 left in the third period. The score is now 2-1. So the Mustangs are still down by 1, but hopefully that'll give them some energy to get some more pucks in the back of the net. So Giesman, Zoldi, Downey, Brooks, and Steer. So the Raiders bring this through. The Raiders have it in the corner. Centering pass broken up by Steer. Brooks will pick this up. Broken up by the Raiders. Raiders with a shot blocked by Steer. We do get the puck out into the neutral zone. Pressure by Downey. Cross-ice pass by the Raiders. Zoldi putting pressure along that puck. Wide line. Giesman putting pressure along this puck. Giesman with a shot wide of the net. Zoldi over along the near boards. The puck leaks out into the neutral zone. Downey putting pressure along that puck. Raiders stop, center it. Thankfully, they didn't have anybody there. Zoldi will pick this up on the near boards, dumps it up into the neutral zone. High bouncing puck. Brooks will pick this up. Brooks along the far boards. The puck leaks in. Giesman sends it to the opposite wall. Downey in pursuit. The puck goes behind the net. The Raiders will regroup, bring it through the neutral zone. Pressure by Downey and Steer. The Raiders have it behind the net. Broken up by Steer. Steer sends it up towards Giesman. Steer trying to get that puck, bounces off the Raiders' skates. Knob in the corner, but it gets poke checked behind the net. Steer will pick this up, sends it towards Zoldi. The Raiders keep it in at the point. Shot blocked. Knob putting pressure along that puck. The Raiders have it at the point, saved by Winfield. Knob at that corner. The Raiders have it at the point, saved by Winfield. Goes out towards Knob. Knob off of the wall towards Zoldi. The Raiders regroup in the neutral zone. Knob with a poke check to break up that play. Knob sends it hard on net, but the Raiders pick that off. Eichfeld keeps that puck in the zone. Baker trying to keep that in. The Raiders do regroup, bring it through the neutral zone. Poke check by Moore to break up that play. We get it out to the far wall. Baker putting pressure along that puck along with Moore. Back to the point. Shot wide of the net. Brooks and Downey along the boards. Downey comes up with the puck. Downey up towards Eichfeld. Over to Baker. Baker with a shot and gloved by the goalie and whistle blown. So 10:36 left in the third period. The score is 2-1 in favor of the Raiders. We'll face off to the left of the goalie. Eichfeld, Baker, Wenzel, Brooks, and Steer. So Wenzel towards the middle. The Raiders will pick this up. Cross ice pass into the neutral zone. Poke check by Steer. The Raiders do bring it down. A check by Eichfeld. Baker brings us behind the net. Hard pass up towards Wenzel. I believe that's going to be icing. So 10-12 left in the third period. We'll face off to the left of Winfield. So Baker, Wenzel. I felt shot saved by Winfield. So Baker, Wenzel, Steer, Eichfeld, and Brooks. So the Raiders come up with the puck, send it to the point, back along the wall. Brooks will bring this up into the neutral zone, brings it into the offensive zone. The Raiders will pick this up. Raiders cross-ice pass into the neutral zone. Steer putting pressure along that puck into the corner behind the net. Steer picks this up, has some speed, gets it out momentarily before it gets back in. Baker there along the boards. Wenzel will pick this up, takes it in front of the net. Wenzel cross-ice pass, but it gets picked off by the Raiders. The Raiders will dump it down as they go on a change. Wenzel will pick this up. Wenzel, hard pass towards Eichfeld. Eichfeld gets it around that one player. Eichfeld brings it in. Eichfeld with a shot around the boards. Knob keeps that in, gets it to Williams. Williams gets it towards the middle. Unfortunately, we didn't have anybody there. The Raiders have this puck. Lugar putting pressure along that puck. Sheehan breaks up that play. There's going to be a tripping penalty. So I'm trying to figure out who's going to the box. Looks like Sheehan's going to the box for that tripping penalty. So we'll be on a penalty kill again for minute 30, 8:53 left in the third period. The score is still 2-1 in favor of the Raiders. We'll face out to the left of Winfield. We have Moore, Lugar, Williams, and Knob. So Williams will pick up this puck, hits it along the boards. Lugar there, the Raiders keep it in at the point, send it to the top of the circle, poke checked by the Mustangs, kept in at the point. So a shot from the point there, the Raiders keep it in. I'm not sure if it got deflected in. Circle, poke checked by the Mustangs, kept in at the point after the play. So that's going to be a power play goal by the Raiders. So that'll get Sheehan out of the box. It'll put the Raiders up 3-1. So the Mustangs will be back to full strength. Sheehan, Lugar, Williams, Brooks, and Steer. Steer will pick up this puck. Steer with a shot, goes behind the net. Lugar putting pressure along that puck. Sheehan comes in, but the Raiders have some speed through the neutral zone. The Raiders bring it in. Good job by Brooks to try to break up that play. Centering pass broken up by the Mustangs. Williams sends it to the far boards. The Raiders do pick this up. Raiders change directions along the boards. Raiders bring it into the middle. Blocked. Still sitting there right at that circle. Williams will pick this up. Dumps it down. Raiders cross-ice pass into the neutral zone, picked up by Williams. Raiders dump it down into our defensive zone. Sheehan will try to get to this puck behind the net. Sheehan and Brooks fighting for that puck behind the net. Still fighting for that puck. The puck does leak behind the net. Steers there, centering pass, shot. Nice save there. The Raiders have it at the top of the circle. Lugar tries to break that up, gets it up towards Williams. Williams tries to get it out into the neutral zone. The Raiders do pick this up. Brooks springs it through the neutral zone, dumps it down after he gains the red line before he takes a hard hit. Downey behind the net. Downey gets it still into that corner, gets it over to Conrad. Conrad to the middle towards Giesman. Giesman with a slap shot just wide of the net. Conrad back to Knob. Knob with a shot deflected. Conrad towards the middle again. Conrad trying to still get that puck towards the middle, gets it to Downey. Downey with a shot wide of the net. Giesman over into the corner along with Conrad. Downey picks up this puck. Giesman with a shot, saved by the goalie. Conrad tries to do a wraparound, saved by the goalie. Giesman tries to get a shot off, deflected wide of the net. Downey with this puck goes over to Conrad. Conrad with a shot, and I think saved by the goalie. I don't know. The goalie was down on the ground, and I think they did save it. So multiple shot attempts there by the Mustangs. Good shift. We just got to keep shooting. So 6:22 left in the third. The score is still 3-1 in favor of the Raiders. We'll have Eichfeld, Wenzel, Baker, Moore, and Knob. Saved by the goalie. So we'll repeat that face-off to the left of the goalie. The Raiders pick it up behind the net. They change directions, take it behind the net again. Over to the far boards. Cross-ice pass into the neutral zone. The Raiders bring it in. Poke check by Moore. Eichfeld sends it up along the boards. Shot, saved by Winfield. Puck still sitting there. We do get it out. The Raiders dump it back down, top of the, or at the dot, centering pass up to the point. Shot, saved by Winfield, and covered. The Raiders dump it back down, top of the, or at the dot, centering pass up to the point. Shot, saved by Winfield. 5:48 left in the third period. So we're going to have Conrad, Steer, Giesman, Brooks, and Downey. So Brooks will take this behind the net, changes directions. Brooks sends this up, but the Raiders keep it in. The Raiders dump it back down. Downey is there to pick this up. Downey gets it around that player. Downey through the neutral zone. Downey over to the boards towards the middle, passes it back. Giesman tries to get a one-timer off. Conrad towards the far boards. The Raiders do pick this up, send it behind the net. I think that's Giesman over there along the wall. Steer tries to keep that in and does. Momentarily, it does leak out. Steer will regroup while we get back on sides. Sends it to Brooks. Brooks dumps it down into the offensive zone. Downey in pursuit of this puck. Downey still fighting to get to this puck. Downey centers it to Steer. Steer with a nice slap shot just wide of the net. Williams is in as well. The puck does leak out. Steer keeps it along the boards there. It leaks back to Moore. Moore cross-ice pass over to Giesman. Giesman tries to get it towards Downey, bounces off some skates. Unfortunately, we were offsides. So 4:28 left in the third period. The score is still 3-1 in favor of the Raiders. We'll have Lugar, Williams, Sheehan, Knob, and Moore. So Sheehan with that face-off. Lugar dumps it down. Lugar still fighting for that puck. Puck leaks towards the corner. Moore tries to get a shot, saved by the goalie. So we'll do a face-off to the left of the goalie. 4:18 left in the third period. So Lugar's going to take the face-off. Goes behind the net. The Raiders send it around the boards. I believe that's Sheehan that came in to try to break up that play. Williams has it, centering pass towards Lugar. Lugar tries to get a shot. Sheehan gets a shot off, and it's in. So I think that was Sheehan with the backhanded goal there. Williams has it, centering pass towards Lugar. Lugar tries to get a shot. Sheehan gets a shot off. So the score is now 3-2. So the Mustangs are just down by 1. We have 4:02 left in the third period. Per the scoreboard, the Mustangs have 19 shots on goal and the Raiders have 21 shots on goal. So Sheehan with a face-off goes back to the Raiders. Raiders along the board. Knob sends it back up towards Sheehan. The Raiders pick this up, have some speed. The Raiders bring it through. Shot. Bouncing puck. So awesome job by Winfield. That was a bouncing puck. It went high up into the Raiders. Pick this up, have some speed. The Raiders bring it through. Shot. Bouncing puck. 3:48 left in the third period. So Sheehan with his face off, sitting at the dot, trying to get it out. The Raiders come up with it momentarily, still sitting on some skates. Williams does get it out into the neutral zone, but the Raiders dump it back to their D. Cross ice pass. They dump it down into the corner before the Raiders will go to change. Steer will pick this up, sends it around to Brooks. Brooks over to Williams. Williams stutter step, sends it over towards Eichfeld. The Raiders behind the net. Raiders pass it up, picked off by Conrad. Unfortunately, I think that's offsides. So we'll face off outside the zone for offsides. 3:09 left in the second period. 3:09 left in the third period. Mustangs down by 1. Eichfeld with the face-off goes over towards Conrad. Conrad dumps it down. Mustangs are fighting for that puck along the boards. Wenzel breaks up that play momentarily, gets it to Brooks. Brooks over to the far boards, but it'll be offsides. So they're going to call that an intentional offside, so we'll face off to the left of Winfield. 2:50 left in the third period. So we have Sheehan, Conrad, Wenzel, Moore, and Knob. Wenzel over along the board, sends it up. The Raiders do keep it in. Moore fighting to get to this puck, saved by Winfield. Moore and Knob. Wenzel over along the board, sends it up. The Raiders do keep it in. Moore fighting to get to this puck. So Downey, Giesman, Moore, Sheehan, and Knob saved there by Winfield. Knob along the boards. Shot by the Raiders, wide of the net. Over towards the corner. Moore picks this up, sends it up towards Giesman. Does get it out. Still sitting in the neutral zone there. Downey will pick this up. Downey into our offensive zone. Sutter steps. Looking to Sheehan. Sheehan with another shot. Oh, that was a good glove save by the goalie. Sheehan was looking for another one. So 2:11 left in the third period. Score is still 3-2 in favor of the Raiders. Giesman, Downey, Sheehan, Steer, and Brooks on the faceoff to the right of the goalie. So the puck is along the near boards. Lots of buddies fighting there. The puck leaks out with the Raiders. Giesman putting pressure along the puck. The Raiders do dump it down after they gain the red line. Brooks will pick this up behind the net. Brooks bringing it through with some speed. Brooks brings it through the neutral zone. Brooks into the offensive zone. Brooks hung up over in the corner there. Gets it to Downey. The Raiders pass it up along the far boards. Poke check by Downey to keep it in. Goes behind the net. Nice job by Giesman to poke check that. Tries to center it, bounces off of the Raiders. Sheehan back behind the net there to break up that play. Another check there by, I think that was Downey. So the Raiders are going to be going to the box. Is that a technical maybe? Chad, is that sign for a technical? The T, like, is that a technical? I don't know. It looked like he was putting a T. I don't know if that's, I don't know. It's only on minute 30 up there. So I don't know. I don't know what that was for. Shot into the middle there. Deflected. Giesman with another shot. We're still fighting for that puck. I think that's Lugar down there. Bounces off of the Raiders. Gets it towards the middle. Steer tries to get a shot off. Deflected wide of the net. Steer down towards Lugar. Lugar tries to get it centered. The Raiders pick it up behind the net. 47 seconds left. So Winfield was going to the bench to try to get an extra attacker on, but then he comes back as the puck comes down. 38 seconds. We're still on a power play. The puck leaks back. Downey will pick this up. 31 seconds left. Downey brings it into the neutral zone. Winfield's going to the bench. Downey with a shot and in! Downey ties it up. Left. So power play goal by Downey to brings it into the neutral zone. We are tied 3-3. Winfield's going to the bench. Downey with a shot and in! So great job by the Mustangs there. So great job capitalizing on that power play. So 22.5 seconds left in the third period, tied 3-3. We're going to have Downey, Giesman, Eichfeld, Brooks, and Steer. So Eichfeld with the faceoff still sitting there. The Raiders dump it down. Steer will go to the corner. 17 seconds left. Steer sends it around to the near boards. The Raiders pick it up, send it to the point. Shot deflected wide. 8 seconds left. Steer tries to get this out. Steer towards the middle. The Raiders do pick this up. 4 seconds saved by Winfield and covered. So the puck was covered, the whistle was blown, but they let the clock run out. So I guess they're just going to let it end in a tie. So tied 3-3, the end of a hard-fought game. Although, yeah, the one coach was kind of talking to the ref, so wasn't sure if they were going to put more time up there on the clock, but it looks like no. So great job by the Mustangs for that comeback at the end there. Awesome job. 3-3 tie. Per the scoreboard, the Mustangs had 21 shots on goal and the Raiders had 24 shots on goal. So 2 ties for the Mustangs today. Another game at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow against the Reston Raiders. Thank you very much for watching. Hope everybody has a good rest of your evening.